This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Your thoughts on potentially a new off-campus basketball arena being built?
Well, I think there's some renovations in store for Bud Walton coming, if I'm hearing that right. So that would have to be a longer-term project, right? And I'm sure it's a great debate. And then the locale and all that would have to come into play. But I don't know. I think that's way down the road, guys.
We'll have to wait and see how long that is. I know Hunter Yurchek, what was it, last year? He said 4 or 5 years.
There's been a master plan to update more Bud Walton since Jeff Long was here.
Yeah.
So that's nothing. That's not a new conversation.
Long wanted to knock out the brick, make it glass to help widen the concourse. Like, it wasn't a bad thought. I mean, maybe the engineers and
it's always easy to spend someone else's money.
Yeah, that's the thing. But that was something we were talking about earlier. We were just talking about football team. Slusher back for this game on Saturday, as is KJ Jefferson. Tom, how much more inspired do you think the offensive will play now that their leader's back?
That's a big deal, and I think they're going to play. Think about the last two games. They just haven't gotten a push. Liberty's twists got to them, and just their schemes and the way they attack the mesh point between KJ, Rocket, and the other backs. And then LSU really crowded the line on Malik Hornsby and Cade Fortin and made them have to pass it. And they punished them one time with the 40-yard touchdown, Fortin to Matt Landers. But otherwise, it was a tough go, particularly when they could not contain Harold Perkins. So I do think that Ole Miss is going to send guys at KJ, make him have to make decisions, and the O-line is going to have to respond. They're going to have to get, it's interesting. I heard Sam Pittman talking on his radio show last night that he thinks Rocket Sanders lately has been seeing guys ahead and trying to juke them before the contact, and he'd rather Rocket just run and try to shed the guys. So we'll see how the running game works, but I think they feel like they'll have to lean on that some in this game, maybe try to control the clock a little, and we'll see what the weather conditions look like and who's really eager to be out there. I think that's going to be a big part of Saturday.
Tom, Arkansas's defenses went to a next level in about the last game and a half since the second half of Liberty. You look at Ole Miss in their last few ball games at LSU, they lose and score 20, 31 in a win at A&M, and then 24 in a loss to Bama. Do you expect Arkansas's defense to continue to play at that level, and what will they do to keep Arkansas in this game and give them a chance to win in the fourth quarter?
Well, I do expect them to play better than we've seen much of the year. Now, there are reasons why there's one touchdown allowed in the last 6 quarters. Liberty didn't put its foot on the gas in the second half. They certainly clearly wanted to try to play with that lead and hang on, and they kind of got lucky, and they did hang on. LSU, the cold had something to do with it. And honestly, the way they attacked Jaden Daniels, they went after him, and it wasn't just to fill the lanes and to contain him and try to, keep him within the pocket. It was to go after him, and they did a good job of that. So I expect them to come after Jackson Dart in much the same way. And a big part of this game, Lane Kiffin hinted at this on Monday, that their offense is not quite the same when they don't have the 1-2 of Quinshon Judkins and Zach Evans. And Evans had a concussion last week. Apparently he was knocked clean out, and it's hard to come back from that. And so if they only have Judkins, that plays to Arkansas's favor, in my view. And so I think the intent will be to try to limit Judkins's, not let him go off. And when it was all said and done, Josh Williams for LSU had a good run game last week, and so they've got to limit Judkins, and also be prepared to play 4 downs. So a lot of game planning, and again, in cold weather, man, holding on to the ball, the pass game, and all that can get a little bit more tricky, and so we'll see how that plays out.
Tom, you mentioned that, and I think we're going to see a similar type of game, maybe not 13-10, but what similarities do you see within Ole Miss and LSU in terms of what they're bringing in Saturday night?
Well, read stuff in the backfield, and the success Ole Miss had running the ball last year with Connor and the other guy. They had two guys. I can't remember the other dude's name. Two guys run for 100, and then Matt Corral, I want to say, had 90-something. I mean, and then when they needed to, they went over the top a couple of times. So Lane Kiffin has a good formula, he thinks, against Arkansas, and surely Arkansas has tried to make some corrections and changes to limit how the read game works against them. So I do think there are similarities in the attacks. I think the wide receiving cores are both pretty comparable. Getting Mingo contained is a big deal in this game, and young Quincy McAdoo, you can say his coverage. They completed some balls on him last week, but he's broken up a pass in the end zone. He just took the ball away from one of the Liberty receivers, Noah Frith, and he's helped them. And it's unleashed a little bit more creativity in the way they blitz. And so if he can just maintain and McLaughlin have a good game, then I think that plays into Arkansas's strength.
All right, real quick, shootout or low-scoring game? What do you think the direction is Saturday night?
I'm going to say mid-level shootout, like both teams in the 20s, or one team trickles into the 30s, or both teams in the 30s. So it's a mid-range between the 13-10 and the 52-51. That's my guess.
3 layers or 4 on Saturday night? I mean, how many you need to wear to the game?
I came in 3 last week, had to shed during the game because the press box was warm. But if you're outside, I mean, you got to go 4, right?
All right, well, bundle up. We'll see you Saturday night at the game.
Sounds good, guys.
Football is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. And as your continued source for all sports wagering info, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events like MLB, MMA, tennis, boxing, and even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Bet online, where the game starts.